Okay, I just want to start by saying thank you for allowing me to interview you.
You're very welcome. It's an honor.
So, why did you choose the Navy as your branch of military?
Well, first and foremost, the Navy had a GI Bill program, reserve program that suited me better in order to be able to get back into college once I did my time.
Mm.
Um, I guess I've always been partial to the Navy. I like the water. It's there's something when you're out at sea and you can see nothing but water. It's really pretty cool to be out there. So between the opportunities it gave me to get back to college as well as just my love of the water, it just kind of seemed like the right fit.
When you were living in close quarters with your peers, was it stressful? Did you make new friends?
Yes to both. um, yeah, we actually we would sleep in three tiers. So I slept in the middle bunk and had a guy above me and a guy below me. So yeah, you were. I was on an aircraft carrier. We had 5,000 men on an aircraft carrier. So yeah, we were kind of tight. It's like family. You learn to get along, and you have your good days, and you have your days you spat, and you know you tell people to clean up after themselves, and it's like living with a big family. It really is. So yeah, it was interesting at times.
Have you retained any of those relationships that you made?
Haven't that was what 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't really seen anybody since then. Uh, you know, since you come from all over the country, it's pretty tough, to stay. And remember back in those days, there was no emails or Facebooks or any of those kinds of things. So you just kind of everybody went back to home.
Did you stay in contact with friends and family in America?
Yeah, I mean, my wife obviously, and my and mom and dad pretty much stayed. And again, it was letters.
Mm-hmm.
People don't do that much anymore. So you wrote letters to one another, and you really look forward to the mail coming in, which of course they had to fly in or bring in a helicopter, something for the mail to come. But um, when you did get ashore, you might get a phone call. But again, there's no cell phones. It
Okay.
was, it's a long distance around the world phone call. So it's a little bit different time than what you guys are used to.
On board your vessel, you already told me about the three-tier bunks, but
Hmm.
what were some of the other living conditions?
Well, again, I was on an aircraft carrier, which is, uh, till you ever see one, you really don't grasp how big they are.
Right.
You could put three football fields on the flight deck. Okay, so you imagine going down that field and seeing one right after another. Um, but it's not a lot of luxury there. It's pretty uh, bare bones. It's all metal, and yeah, um, you worked, and when you were at sea, you worked and slept, and that was pretty much it. You stood your watches and those kinds of things. So there wasn't a whole lot of um, every once in a while you got to get up and get some fresh air, but I would go days and days and days without seeing sunshine or getting above really above sea level.
So there wasn't much like leisure time to do.
No,
Okay.
you stood 2 4-hour shifts of watches, and then you had 8 hours of work. So there's 16 hours out of your day
Wow.
when you were steaming. Um, that that which is good. It kept you busy. You really didn't have much else to do anyway. It's there's no real place to go for recreation because when you're at sea, they don't have those kinds of things. So guys play cards and stuff, but so mostly you just worked.
What do you mean by that phrase steaming?
Well, ships are run by steam.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out and you're called steaming, means that you're underway. You're out at
Okay.
sea because it's steam that propels the ship.
Were you trained to carry a firearm?
Trained, yes, but really didn't need to. When you're on ship, it's all the only guys that really carried weapons were the Marines. Every ship has Marines with them, and they're kind of like the security or the police. So they had weapons if they needed them. But although in boot camp and stuff, we were taught how to shoot weapons, but we really didn't need them.
Um, how did you progress to the military? Was there like a reward system for?
Well, not necessarily reward. Um, you had to learn things and take tests to move up in rank. You had to have a certain amount of time in before you were allowed to move up in rank. So between your time in and your knowledge and studying the things that you did and passing those tests is how you kind of moved up in rank.
When you were away from your wife and parents, did that like make you homesick for the United States?
Yeah, it's one of those things you just have to learn to put in the back of your mind. If you dwell on it, it'll drive you crazy. So
Yeah.
you know, you it's there, but you just have to put it in the back of your mind and go do what you're supposed to do. And when it got tough is when they would tell you, well, you're gonna head home, and then they would change that date. So it's kind of like you get all excited about getting ready to go home, and well, no, we decided to change. You're going to stay a little longer. Yeah, and that's the military, particularly when you have a conflict going on. They rule the roost.
Yeah. Are there any particular memories that are still vivid in your mind today?
Wow. Yeah, I think it's it's funny. We went. Gosh, I guess when Corey was maybe in eighth grade, we went to Wilmington and walked onto the USS North Carolina. And when you go below deck, all ships smell the same, and it was just flooded back. All those different memories of just being in that setting, and obviously, got to see we had some issues we had to deal with that weren't so pleasant, but also got to go to Hong Kong and Singapore and the Philippines and things like that. That was kind of interesting. They are different worlds in many ways. So yeah, there were some really neat things that I remember. I don't tend to dwell on the past in any part of my life, but and then some of the rougher times too. Again, I think it's human nature just try to remember the good things.
Mm.
The bad things pass as we move away from them, and we do tend to recall the good things. So yeah, every once in a while I'll think about it. And there's some buddies that we had one guy that was a big Elvis impersonator, and he was always running around ships singing Elvis songs. But he was good. At least he was good at it. It would have been really tough if he couldn't sing. So
After the war, did you try to find employment, or as you mentioned earlier, did you go to college?
yeah, when I came when I came back and got discharged, I went to and applied at UNCC. Went and met with the head of the business department. And begged him to take me, basically. And fortunately, it was an old Navy man, and he said, yeah, he'd give me a shot and let me do it. And so went back to school with the GI Bill and working full time and going to school full time and managed to plow through it. But yeah, that was the plan all along, was to get back into school.
Okay, thank you for serving our country and being here for the interview. I really appreciate it,
You're
Mr.
very
Carpenter.
welcome. You're a good young man. See you next year.
See you.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Good question.